So I don't know. The long story short is I'm very dissatisfied at this period of my life. I haven't got anything to really complain about in my personal uh, experience. That I'm fed, I'm covered, I get an income. I'm with my son. I'm supposed to be grateful. I got relatively strong and well health most of the time. And the long story short is I still have ambition to find somebody to love, to find somebody that's going to love me back. Communicate with the world, interact in some capacity. I feel like I'm in my own little cell. I'm definitely, they say that the only cell you're in is the cell of pride. Well, maybe that's true. I'm definitely angry and hurt about the past and who was in it, to include my own parents who are still alive in my hometown and don't talk to me. They tried to. Let me arrange this sentence here. My mother tried to get back to talk to me after being. She ducks out. She hasn't raised my. She hasn't been a grandmother to my son. In my view, how I was raised with loving grandmothers. And the long story short is whether she was ready for it or not, my son was here for the last 11 years. Where the hell was she? She's been on and off. My sisters, I got two sisters, I got a brother, I got a stepfather. I want to make peace, but the only way I can make the peace is by confronting what the hell I have to say or how the hell I have to say it. And, not for nothing, you people have been a bunch of cowards as far as I'm concerned, not letting me have the opportunity to grieve with the family when we lost different members and elder people in the family. And I have aunts, uncles. They all, everybody has the right in this country to go where they want to do and say what they want to say and just. But what ended up happening for me in the last 20 years, the last 10 years where my son's been born, is people just ducked out without explanation, without a call, without any closure whatsoever. All they did was disappear. And they're all in the area where I live. It's not like they left the state and they went on to a life or something. They all just left. Ex-wives, things. I'm at the age now, 40 years old, where I just, I'm grieving the whole process. The whole thing is a process of saying goodbye. There's relatives that are not that much older than me that are doing health-wise. They got health, very scary time for a lot of my, and so a lot of my people that I'm aware of, and that the few people I have in my life that I know by name, But so I try to keep my focus on myself, which looks very greedy and conceited and stupid, and to do that, because it looks very selfish. And I try to keep it, that includes my son and my cat, of all things. Just my own sense of surviving and my own sense of purpose. I don't want to keep beating the drum about the past and who the hell screwed me over and all that shit. But I'm not the only one in that regard that people abandoned or betrayed and moved on. The world changed and it's been a screwed up process. I won't change as much as I'm supposed to. I admit that. You know why? Because I don't want to be gay and I don't want to have the idea that my wife can be shared with a bunch of people and I'm going to pick up somebody else's used goods. You know what I mean? If I become, like, if you think I'm a white supremacist or something crazy because I'm walking around in a white t-shirt and I'm not talking to Jewish people and black people and I'm not speaking Habla Espanol and all this bullshit, that's fine. You can think whatever you want. I'm not. I am not a white supremacist. I am a guy that has been left in the side of the road though since I stopped rolling a joint with everybody that I just mentioned. Um, and once you go straight, like you try to redevelop yourself. You try to get a grip on your life. When you try to figure out who the hell you are, you're gonna lose a lot of people. You're gonna piss off a lot of people who don't want to know who the hell they are. They just want to laugh at everything and think everything's a frickin' you know a party or a joke. And if you're not fun, then you're not worth knowing. I don't think there's so much bullshit in mind games. I don't even want to pretend that I understand why. I used to say to my Uncle Dennis before he died, I said, why is everybody saying, fuck you, and this is the big fuck you game, you know? And he had to admit that, he didn't understand that at the time. I was that perceptive about the story of being alive in America and in the general world, you know, in America. I say in America because I was outside of America in developmental years when I was in the Army. I was in Germany for 3 years. I saw England and Holland and Amsterdam, and I used to mingle with a lot of people from around different cultures. I tried to keep doing that when I got back home from the Army back in the early 90s. When I used to see college students from different countries, we got along better than the people I seem to have to deal with in the structural way they have to think, in especially my hometown. I lived in New York City for a few years, my first marriage, and I was in Manhattan all the time. I was playing drums all the time, and I mingled, people. I was more accessible everywhere but here, and I've been here a lot of. So I'm going back to the point where I'm in my bedroom, and I'm telling you in the camera that it's time for me to get the hell out of here, because I don't want to die here. I don't want my kids stuck in the ground here, and I know everybody that has an opinion about me is going to say, well, more power to you, don't let the door hit you in the ass, But there's a lot of unfinished business, and it's going to hurt if I got to go, and, the way I'm going, without a chance to make peace. But I guess I'm being greedy that I'm supposed to be entitled to feeling that I have a chance to make peace, right? The world ain't that nice. It ain't in my grand design to change it or control it. So the long story short is that I've been feeling my oats. I'm trying to say I'm not, a little Hitler. That's my main thesis of this conversation. And I'm trying to raise my son to have tolerance and things. I gotta say though that we're not part of the urban culture of the ghetto land and all that crap. And you can say what you want, but I'm getting set up a lot, in my opinion, in my close quarters of where I live, with these gang colors and all this shit going on. I'm thinking to myself, crazy Austin, right? The town crazy, right? So I'm thinking, well, that's because I'm not part of it. I'm not with anybody's gang. I'm not gonna. Look, man, I want to get a good job with a little bit of time. I need a little more training to be, even show my face, other than I can't do entry level manual labor in most positions anymore because of a disability, physical disability, and limitations. I got concerns. I'm not gonna. It's not easy for me to make excuses why I'm not making more with my time. But the servitude that I chose was to be a single dad, and it is a very difficult role in life. It never ends, and you feel like a horse's ass when you do break, and you say, look, get away from me. I need to have my own time and things. Because it's impossible to explain to other people what kind of a never-ending, all-encompassing, uh, life of service that is to have a child on your own, disabled guy